Hey, this is Jon Fleischman, and welcome to SoDoesItMatter.com. This is where we focus on the insanity of California all of the time. As Gavin Newsom enters his 8th year as governor, California has become the most unaffordable state in the lower 48. This did not happen by accident. It is the result of policy choices made, expanded, or left in place on his watch. And it matters nationally because Gavin Newsom is already out there effectively campaigning for the presidency. He's traveling the country, attacking President Trump everywhere he goes. He's presenting himself as a national alternative. California is not a theory, it's a test case. If voters want to know how he governs, they don't need campaign speeches. They can look at the actual bills that Californians are paying right now. It's really bad. Before I get into the list, a quick word. I'm an independent voice in California. I'm a conservative, but I call balls and strikes without working for anybody. Nobody owns me. Nobody can tell me what to say or not say. And so if you find this useful, help me to get it in front of more people. Hit like, hit subscribe, restack, depending on where you are. This helps with the algorithms and gets this message about Gavin Newsom out in front of more people. Okay, here we go. It's time to talk about 9 ways that Gavin Newsom is making California the least affordable state in the country. First and foremost, we have California's cap and trade program, which builds carbon costs directly into the costs of fuel and electricity. These costs don't stay in Sacramento. They get passed directly to consumers. According to California's Legislative Analyst's Office, that's roughly 20 to 30 cents a gallon every time you fill up here in California. And under Newsom, that surcharge is locked in until 2045, folks. That's a long time. Number 2, California requires special gasoline here. It's a special blend that's not used anywhere else in the country. It's all part of this kind of almost religious jihad that the California legislature and the governor are on to try to drive out every carbon emission man-made in the entire state of California. It's this quixotic thing because California represents an infinitesimal amount of planet-wide carbon emissions, but the pain that is being exacted for this focus is just completely outrageous. Anyways, when a refinery goes down because of regulations, we can't easily import fuel from other states because we have this special blend. So the predictable gas spikes occur faster and higher than anywhere else. All right, we talked about refineries. So item number 3 is refineries going down. Valero is closing their refinery in April. Phillips 66 is closing their refinery like this week. This will reduce a significant percentage of California's available gas at the special blend. And there's a study out of the University of Southern California that warns that losing the amount of capacity we're going to lose could push California towards $8 a gallon gas during supply disruptions. It's not a forecast, it's a warning. And if you're not from California, you got to think carefully about whether you want this coming to you all over the country. Anyways, number 4, California has the highest state gas taxes in the United States, just over 70 cents per gallon. Just think about it. Every time you fill up your car, 70 cents per gallon goes to the state of California to pay for high-speed rail and all those other great spending priorities of Gavin Newsom. Drivers pay the difference. That's what happens when those prices go up. So the 5th thing that Gavin Newsom is responsible for that makes California very expensive is a law that forces utilities towards aggregating renewable mandates regardless of the cost. So again, this jihad against man-made carbon emissions has thrown down in the form of massive regulations on all of the energy producers in California. And these costs are nuts. Electricity here averages about 32 cents per kilowatt hour. That's nearly double the national average. That's right, double. Number 6, California talks about streamlining housing but it only does it for high density projects. So if you want to live in Gotham City, that's what the vision is. The vision is funding for high density, high rise, multifamily units, people crammed in, that dream of your own yard, your own garage. Well, it's not their dream, that's for sure. So when you put wage mandates on the construction for those high density units and you require fees and you also require that money be put forward to subsidize the people that goes into that housing. It's super expensive housing. But of course, if you want any other type of housing, especially, single family homes, you're out of luck because that's not on his list. All right. Number 7 would be insurers in California having massive rates. Our property insurance rates in California are through the roof. And Gavin Newsom, while not directly responsible for our insurance prices, plays a massive role because he, of course, can sign legislation that affects them. And of course, he has a lot of influence with our state insurance commissioner, who's from his own party. But does he exercise that authority? No, he does not. So we're seeing these rates go up and up and up as more and more regulations, fees, and taxes get thrown at the insurance space and requirements of coverage that blow out of any kind of norms, the idea of a cost benefit analysis, which is chasing property insurers out of the state of California. This year, Newsom signed policies that spread wildfire losses statewide. So even if you live in an area where there's no wildfire risk, you're going to pay higher premiums to subsidize the outlays to the people who live in high-risk areas. It's really crazy. So the eighth reason why Newsom makes California unaffordable is other states used COVID relief to pay down their unemployment debt. California did not do this. California received money of which they could have spent $20 billion to pay this off. By the way, that's what every other state did. They paid off this debt. They borrowed money from the federal government to make unemployment insurance payments. Of course, everyone was out of work during COVID, or many people, but then all the other states got federal money and paid it off. But not California. We were too busy paying for insurance for people in the country illegally. We were busy paying for high-speed rail, all of these other priorities. And so guess who's stuck paying it? Well, that results in a federal payroll tax de facto hitting every employer in California to make up this $20 billion shortfall. And if you don't think that that goes to the workers eventually or makes companies less competitive, remember, we're in not only a global economy, we're in a national economy. We have to compete with every other state, and none of those other states have these extra fees because, again, they paid this off. So last but not least, and this is really important, California doesn't just tax, it regulates, and then on top of that, it regulates more. Each rule adds costs. Each cost shows up in daily life. It may not be called a tax when they do this, but it's functioning like a tax, and there is no part of the California economy that isn't hit with massive regulations, massive fees, all the time, everywhere. So California just costs more than anywhere else, and this is a completely human-made problem. And so if you want to import this kind of high cost nationally, well, I could think of one way to do it. Just put a Californian in the White House. Anyways, California is the record. If you want to read more about this and about the other forms of crazy California policy we cover every day, go to sodoesitmatter.com. I'm Jon Fleischman. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Please share this. Thank you very much.